Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Wow, it is an absolutely fabulous day out here in Texas. And in fact, we've got a nice breeze coming in here. And occasionally my wind chime up over here starts tinkling away. So that's kind of nice. And of course, it just smells so fresh and clean. I think we must have got a rain last night or something because it just smells absolutely beautiful. Well, guys, the article that I was reading this morning really is telling a lot about where we're at as in this economy as well. And this one had to do with the repossessions of vehicles. Because right now, as we know, a lot of people have been struggling along with their credit card payments, and we've been seeing massive defaults. Well, what's happening now, of course, is you're seeing a lot of people defaulting on their vehicle payments, not able to make them like 2-3 months behind. And so repossessions, the uptick is like bang, 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 bang. And what does that tell you when you see repossessions up that high? Well, of course, it's telling you a lot of people, number one, can't afford the payments that they have, okay? And that tells you where they are with respect to their income levels and this and that and being able to afford to make it. But the second big thing, of course, is that the inventory for these vehicles at a lot of these lots is just rising as well. And when you see that, obviously you're going to see the price of vehicles, or you should be seeing it, start to come down and fall because, of course, the supply is way outpacing demand because a lot of people aren't even able to go out and qualify for a lot of these cars, because the interest rates are so high. And of course, with used cars, interest rates oftentimes are much higher than they are with new cars, and on and on and on. And so you're not seeing people being able to go out there and qualify. Now, having said that, what's really wild, a while back I was reading an article where a lot of these dealerships that are facing a glut of inventory that they can't move, what they're actually doing is going out there and they're buying up parcels of land or leasing parcels of land, putting a chain link fence around it and parking all the extra vehicles over there in a lot of these lots that are outside of the public view. And they're doing that not just because they need more parking space for the stuff, but they're trying to make their lots, their actual lots where the sales force is, look sparse, so that it gives the illusion that the market is really strong when it's absolutely nowhere near strong. In fact, it's weaker than ever before. And so eventually, I think what we're going to end up seeing now, that kind of practice, in a way, I understand the motive behind it. Look like you're really doing business. Keep just a few on the lot, but make it look like, oh, wow, there's demand because there's not too many cars on the lot. But guys, we all know that is absolute hogwash. In fact, with all of what's going on. And of course, you see inventory like that. If you're in the market for a vehicle, just wait. Not too much longer. I'd say give it a month or two and you're going to see prices really start to come down. And obviously that's going to happen in a big way. Now, something else about this whole repossession thing, because in this article, this is what they're proposing. We may be actually seeing, and get this, an uptick in AI and robots facilitating the repossessions. And where are they getting this from? Well, they're getting it out of, they're taking a spin-off from Liverpool, mind you, over there in the UK. So apparently when cars are parked illegally, there are places over there in Liverpool that literally use robots and AIs that have some sort of a system where they can go in, lift out the vehicle, haul it out, and then I guess apparently the AI vehicle with no driver drives it over to wherever the lot is for all the impounded vehicles and whatever. And I was thinking to myself, my goodness, do you realize, like, when you think of the tow truck, industry and stuff like that, it's one of those industries where a person can actually get, like, from the ground up, get self-employed, buy one of those trucks, learn how to operate the truck, contract themselves out to a lot of these big firms and stuff like that. And then, of course, go out there and make a pretty good living as a tow truck driver for accidents, for people's stalled vehicles, obviously for repossessions, and on and on and on. So now here we are in a situation, we're seeing a major uptake in repossessions. And it's outpacing, like, I mean, there's not enough tow truck drivers apparently out there to facilitate the demand and what. So now they're going to look at bringing in these AI robots. Now, of course, we've heard all about these driverless cars and how this is going to go down into the future. But lately, a bunch of them have been having major accidents. And can you imagine being behind one of these things on the road while it's ticking along, maybe at 15 clicks an hour or something like that? And, you're having to wait up while it's, kind of pancaking a vehicle in the front of it going down the road. And I'm thinking, what? And number one, what happens if the hydraulics go on the thing? Well, then there it is, stuck, and traffic's all coagulated for whatever. Number two, think about this. What happens if the thing kind of hits some kid on a bicycle? There you go, and all that kind of stuff, because things like that have definitely happened. And the real thing that I think about is this: is there really that much? I mean, can we not? Absolutely. Look, I don't have any issues with automation. Of course, we're watching it. This technological change is a big deal. But I'm wondering, how many industries do we genuinely want to, acquiesce over to automation completely? And not have individual people there that can make an adjudicated judgment on the scene, and stuff like that. And so it's just kind of like I don't even know what the word to kind of use is, but almost dehumanizing, depeopling, various industries. So it's just like almost like benign and that kind of thing. And I'll tell you, in certain capacity, we lose out big time. We really lose out big time. Think about it in the banking industry. Most of us have really become accustomed to the fact that we can do our banking online, we can use our debit cards, things like that, and rarely do we see the inside of a bank. Do you know how much that has changed the banking industry in terms of relationship, where you actually establish a trust relationship with your banker? So that if you actually needed help and stuff like that, hey, you might not have all the points out there, but your banker knew you, and they knew you well enough to absolutely say, look, I can vouch for him and their character and all that. And a human being was making a decision, based on your credibility to pay back a loan or whatever and that kind of thing. That's gone, guys. That's absolutely gone. You go into a bank, it's some sort of algorithm that makes that decision, and that's that. And nobody, it seems, has the authority in the bank to reverse the decision. I'm telling you, it's crazy. So let me give you an example in my own life. So when I came down here to the United States, and immigrated here, and I have, in my home country, hey, I have an amazing credit score. Really good. Here I had next to none, because apparently to them, I had zero history. So I'm opening up my bank account at the bank to establish, a bank account. And the lady says, hey, do you want to apply for a credit card? Oh, well, I guess, sure, why not? Because, So I'm applying for this thing. Came back declined. And so anyway, I'm like, well, you told me it was not going to be an issue and blah, 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 blah. Phoned the people up, and they basically told me, well, I had zero history in the United States. It did not matter. I said, did you even establish what our net worth is in comparison to this little thing over here? Never even looked at it. Could care less or whatever. Well, that bank now is begging me to take one of their credit cards. I'm like, no, don't need it. I'm not even going to take it. But my point is, they allowed, a machine algorithm to make a decision rather than on credibility and character. And that's something that we have lost due to automation. And so, how many of our industries are we willing to acquiesce over to automation, where we literally take the human element right out of it? Even though we can, my question is, should we be doing it? That's another big deal. And think of the jobs of those people too, that are in there, because a lot of these, a guy can go out and he can buy himself a tow truck, right? Let's say it costs, 125 grand, get a tow truck, somewhere in there. And now I don't know, maybe you guys in the industry that are doing it, it's more than that. But you go out and you start your own little business there and contract yourself, and you start making, a decent amount of dough, enough to raise a family and do all the things you want to do. These machines, that they're putting out there, they're no small ticket items. These are big. How many small mom and pops can afford to buy this? Well, they can't, can they? So what are we really dealing with? Well, we're dealing with big time industry that can go out there and lay down the multiple millions of dollars to supplant all the actual, drivers with all these AI machines and stuff like that. And so there again, we're losing a big segment of, those small hometown businesses, which really made our communities, didn't they? They really made you ended up knowing who your baker was, knowing who your butcher was. You knew who owned the bicycle shop. You knew who did this and who did that, and you had a really strong community. Now that's been totally evaporated, of course, with the big box stores. And even there, we're losing that because a lot of the big box stores are closing out and going into online industries and stuff like that. And I think we're just losing something so valuable to our society and how our communities operate, that it's really something else. And of course, that just plays right into the whole by 2030, you'll own nothing and be happy, because who's going to own everything? Well, it's all going to be all these big time conglomerates that are going to own everything. The little guy like you and I, well, we're going to own nothing as far as they're concerned. It's all that planned obsolescence where we're leasing everything from them and that type of thing. And in that capacity, man, now you're drinking from the milk that they deliver. And I'll tell you what, you're on the tit, because there's no way of getting off in a situation like that. And that's where, guys, we just have to consider, is it worth it in the long run to do all this kind of stuff and kind of kill the fabric of our communities for the benefit of, convenience and stuff like that? That's something I think about quite a bit, because those of us that are in my age group, hey, we've lived through some big changes. We remember a world where this wasn't the way it was, and we can look back and think, wow, was it better? Was it worse? Well, certainly there was some things that are worse, that's true. But I tell you, from my estimation, the way in which people interacted and stuff like that in community, it wasn't, I don't know if we're getting a better trade out of it in that capacity anyway. So I'll tell you, it's interesting stuff. And guys, I'll tell you, we're watching things happen so quick that it's changing. Bang, bang, bang. Wouldn't surprise me. We're going to see some big changes, of course, in this digital asset space, because the world is absolutely evolving. And the way in which financial transactions, the monetary system, the banking system, the way everything interacts. And for you and I that are in this space as early as we are, I'm telling you what, to me, it's one of the greatest blessings we could ever have. That is for sure. Well, guys, I'll tell you, I sure hope you're having an amazing day. And until later on today, when we have an absolutely fantastic video for you, have a great one and take care.